Hello everyone, in this video I'll be doing a breakdown of my Captain Boomerang DPS build for the Duality episode, which is probably the best build for killing brutes due to the insanely high single target DPS, making it an ideal choice for the tough crowd and also choking hazard incursions. This build makes use of the Poison Ivy Infamy set to deal an initial burst of damage and then finishes it off by stacking the most powerful single target damage buffs, while also combining Boomerang Sucker Punch and Bonanza talents to constantly scale the damage up from each other to the point where you reach hundreds or billions of damage. Keep in mind that the Poison Ivy Infamy set is not working as intended right now because it seems to be doing way more damage than it says, and the same is probably true for the two talents I mentioned previously. The Poison Ivy 2-piece bonus effect says the following: afflicting enemies for the first time in any way hurts them for 25% of their maximum health. This can only happen once per enemy. This effect is very strong on its own, but at the moment it looks like the damage is actually double of what it says, around 50% max health damage, which is insane. This means that this bug might get fixed in the near future, making the build less powerful, but even then it will probably still be one of the best DPS builds out there. With this build you can almost one-shot any bomber, destroyer, tank or chopper, and it's pretty easy to play as well, as it doesn't require much setup or combos. For this showcase I am using Captain Boomerang because of his talents and general playstyle, which fits a close range shotgun DPS build. You can copy this loadout to any other character and use it as a DPS build, but it will be less effective. For a deep dive into how the Sucker Punch and Bonanza talents work together to scale damage up infinitely, check out my Captain Boomerang meta DPS build from the Fear episode, where I go into detail about everything. For this video, all you need to understand is that every 3 melee hits will boost the damage of your next firearm critical hit, and every 5 critical hits with your firearm will boost the damage of your next melee hit. Rotating between these two talents can build up damage into the hundreds of millions or even past a billion. It's not necessary to make use of these talents to make the build work, especially at lower mastery levels, but it can definitely save you some time if you're competing for leaderboards or if you just want to finish the incursion faster. This build also combines all the highest possible single target DPS boosting effects such as stacked deck, punish and various villain synergies. Since we are mainly going to use this in the Duality episode, we want to have a way to punish and burn enemies in order to take advantage of the new villain synergies, mutators and modifiers. The main modifiers and mutators we want to keep an eye out for are the following. Enemies take 300% more damage from damage over time effects when they are below 30% health. This is a very strong effect, and in combination with stacked deck it will make our burn and poison deal a ton of damage. Each critical hit on a burning enemy gives you one combo. This is very useful to get to 50 combo very fast at the beginning of an incursion, and also in case you die. These modifiers are some of the two main reasons we are using both burn and poison in our build. So far I was able to clear mastery 170 with this build in the Duality episode, but since it can basically one-shot enemies easily, it can clear any mastery level for sure if used in the correct incursions. Let's dive into the items we are using for this build. In the firearm 1 slot, we are using the stacked deck shotgun because it makes enemies take 750% more damage from all sources, which is a multiplicative damage increase. This means it makes enemies take more damage from burn and poison as well, including the 2-phase tier 2 1-piece bonus effect. It's a must in this build and it can be easily obtained as a master variant by crafting it at the Penguin. In the firearm 2 slot, we are using the Black Mask's Bulletstorm sniper rifle only for the villain synergies with our Scarecrow and 2-phase items. For the melee, we are using Double Tap, which is an extremely useful melee weapon for DPS builds in the Duality episode. It punishes enemies on hit, and if they are already punished, it burns them. This means we can keep enemies punished and burned constantly in order to take advantage of the rest of our build and also the episode modifiers and mutators. For the grenade, we are using Cold Sweat, which is only there for the Scarecrow tier 1 set bonus. This makes our critical hits apply poison to enemies, which deals a lot of damage over time. For the shield mod, we are using Deuce's Ticum, which is only there for the set bonus. For the traversal mod, we are using Gravitropism, which is only there for the set bonus. For the neckband mod, we are using Reverse Flash's Focus, which is there for the huge utility it provides and also for the damage increase and villain synergy. For the lucky charm, we are using Thigmatropism, which is only there for the set bonus. The reason we are not using the 2-phase tier 3 set in this build is because it takes a bit too long to get the stacks when playing an incursion like Tough Crowd, where you need to kill brutes. This build uses 3 villain synergies, which are Seeing Red, Killer Instinct and Would You Like to See My Mask. Seeing Red is a synergy between our 2-phase infamous items and our Reverse Flash Notorious Neckband mod. This effect gives us a 400% damage increase and a 100% damage taken buff, which lasts for 60 seconds and deactivates when we use a suicide strike. Killer Instinct is a synergy between our Black Mask Notorious firearm and our Two-Face Infamous Shield mod. This effect gives us up to 400% damage to punished enemies. Would you like to see my mask is a synergy between our Black Mask Notorious firearm and our Scarecrow Infamous Grenade. This effect makes it so that every 20 critical hits instantly reload our firearm and we gain 100% increased critical hit damage. This is a pretty strong effect for this build and it makes it so that we reload less often, which means less wasted time. The affliction we are using in this build is Diablo Blaze because we need to be able to burn enemies in order to take advantage of our Two-Face tier 2 set and the mutators and modifiers in the Duality episode. Let's move on to the recommended augments on each item. For the primary firearm, you want to have critical hit chance, shotgun damage and shield regenerated on critical hits. For the secondary firearm, you want to have critical hit chance, sniper rifle damage and sniper rifle critical hit damage with this firearm. For the melee weapon, you want to have melee damage to brute enemies and affliction resource from melee hits. For the grenade, you want to have explosion radius, grenade drop chance and chance to drop grenade ammo on enemies killed within 5 meters. For the shield mod, you want to have critical hit chance, shotgun ammo reserve capacity and shotgun damage. For the traversal mod, you want to have damage to grunt enemies, damage to brute enemies and damage to enemies that are within 5 meters of you. For the neck bomb mod, you want to have melee damage to grunt enemies, critical hit damage and damage while shield is at 100%. And for the lucky charm, you want to have ammo gain from critical hits, critical hit damage and damage while shield is at 100%. As always, you want to make sure that your bots are equipped with 2 stacked deck firearms each or at least 1 because they can apply it to enemies and not only will it increase the damage you deal, but it will also make them deal damage. Also, equip your bots with 1 piece of the Two-Face tier 1 set because they can also apply punish to enemies when they get hit. When it comes to talents for Captain Boomerang, we are focusing on anything that increases our critical hit chance, critical hit damage, shotgun damage, firearm damage and melee damage. Some of the crucial talents are Going Hunting, which makes enemies take more damage when we hit them with our melee, Trickster, which increases our damage by 100% at 40 combo, Admiral Boomerang, which further increases our damage by 60% at 50 combo, and of course the bread and butter of the build, Sucker Punch and Bonanza. For the squad talents, you want to get critical hit chance, critical hit damage, melee damage, shotgun damage twice, damage to brute enemies, damage to burning enemies, and the rest is personal preference. Let's move on to the build playstyle. This build is pretty easy to play since your only objective is to focus your damage on a single enemy at a time. You want to start off by hitting the enemy with your melee once in order to apply punish and remove any shields, then apply stacked deck until it reaches max stacks, which will eventually apply a random affliction from the IV set effect. If that affliction is not burn, you should then use your melee again to apply burn. Remember to use your melee attack 3 times to boost your firearm critical hits and then use your melee whenever burn expires on an enemy to keep it applied and also take advantage of Boomerang's Sucker Punch talent. Another important part of the build is to keep 100% uptime on your squad ultimate. It should be easy enough to do it with this build, but you need to prepare yourself for when the squad ultimate is about to run out. The easiest method is to just use your suicide strike or traversal attack on a nearby enemy, which will make you immune during the animations. Before the animations will finish, your squad ultimate will be back to full and you can continue the rotation all over again. Don't forget to also maintain 100% shield as much as possible to take advantage of our damage while shield is at 100% augments. An easy way to do that in this episode is to make use of the puddles that enemies leave behind when they die, which give you 20% shield per second. Keep repeating the same process over and over and you should have an easy time with almost any incursion in any episode. That will be it for this video, thanks for watching and I'll catch you in the next one.